Hey guys, it's Elle. Welcome back to my channel. And today I'm going to be doing my December wrap up. I read 15 books in December, which is pretty good. I haven't read 15 books in what feels like forever, but I was just really motivated to read a lot before the end of the year ended. So I read some really good books and some like duds, but let's get right into this video. The first book I read in December was Caution to the Wind. I finished it like late November, so I think I just added it on to December, but this is the seventh and it's not the final book. It is the seventh book in the Fallen Men series by Gianna Darling. This is a forbidden age gap motorcycle romance series, and this book, May and Axman have a very tumultuous past, and she has always had a crush on him. He is the father of her best friend, so it's best friend's dad, but also forbidden with motorcycle romance in it. So they have a very tumultuous past, and something happened years ago where Axman is very angry at May and like never wants to see her again, but she has come back into town to take care of her best friend because she had something that happened in the previous book, and he does not want her there at all. But all of these like old feelings resurface, and it is just so good. There's lots of action in this one with like MC stuff and very forbidden, and I loved it. I loved how they like fell for each other so hard. This is like one of my top reads of the year. I just love this book so much, and it was amazing, and I cannot wait for Gianna Darling's newest release in February, which is going to be a FF Medusa retelling. And like the synopsis for that one is that one of the heroines was hurt really badly and like damaged from the other heroine's father, who is I think he's the dean of this prep school, and so she decides to go after his daughter, and I'm really excited for it. So keep that on your radar. I am dying for that book, but I love this one so much. And then I read Passion and Venom by Shanora Williams. This is a very dark romance. It is a kidnapped romance. So on the heroine's wedding day, her husband gets murdered and killed right in front of her, and she is kidnapped and she's taken as a prisoner. And once the owner of like whoever, like the leader of the mafia kind of thing, comes to visit her, he realizes that he remembers her from his childhood, and so he takes her out of like the prison like kidnap area he put her in and brings her to like his house and wants to break her down and make her his. And it is so good. It is a short book. It's like 200 pages, but it was addicting. Like, I was obsessed with this book, reading it, thinking about it. There's one scene from a gallery part that is like seared into my brain. Like, I love this book, and I love how she like wanted to push him to his limits, and it was so good. And this is a very dark romance, so if you don't like dark romance, don't read this, but I loved it. It was amazing. I gave this one 5 stars. It was really good. Then I read Minks by Sophie Lark. I give this book 3 stars. It was not good. I feel like it was very gimmicky. The whole synopsis is that the heroine give out her services and will be with like men, and they pay her to like go on dates with her or do stuff with her, and she's like one of the most known people around in like New York, I think. But she's also really into finance, and the hero works in finance, and he is just enraptured by her. And it's kind of like this like power play type thing. Like, he helps her and she helps him kind of, but they do a kink of pretending that she is a Minx. And I did like that part. I wasn't bothered by it, but it just felt very gimmicky. Like, all they would do would just be at his house doing stuff together, and it just didn't feel like a Sophie Lark book. Like, I feel like her past couple of releases, I don't know, I just haven't loved them. Like, ever since Anastasia released, I just didn't love it. So that's really sad. But this was just not my favorite. I just felt like it was all about like her being a Minx, and that was like the big thing of the book. Like, I don't know. It just didn't feel like a Sophie Lark book. It just felt off-brand, but I don't know. It wasn't my favorite. I just feel like she's like veering away from her dark romance roots, and I just don't like it. I want her to be like a dark romance author and just write mafia and dark romances. Like, I feel like that's what she's so good at. But this was 3 stars, not a favorite for me. Then I read After the Storm by Laura Pavlov. This is a small town romance, single dad romance, but also second chance. So the hero and heroine were together years ago, like in a relationship, but then they broke up and she went off and married somebody else and he got another woman pregnant. So now it is years later and she's coming back to her small town to take care of her father, and she sees the hero again and he is actively like seeking her out. And she just got a divorce, and they start hanging out again. And their relationship first started off as like friends to lovers when they first started dating. So they become friends again, and it leads to a second chance romance. And it is amazing. I loved her relationship with his daughter. This book was so good. I gave it 5 stars. Like, loved it. Cannot wait to read more from this series. Then I read Wreck My Plans, the one and only Christmas romance that I read for December. And I love this one. This is a kind of second chance, not really angsty, a little bit forbidden romance. So the hero and heroine have known each other for years. The hero is best friends with her brother, and he doesn't really have like a family for himself. Her family has really brought him in to the fold, and I just love that. And so, but then something happened where they didn't see him for years, and she felt like he kind of blew her off. And now he is spending Christmas with her family. He is spending Christmas with her family, and she is supposed to spend Christmas with her best friend. But something happened, and now she's spending Christmas with her family, and they've been seeing each other in 3 years, and there's a 10-year age gap. They have been pining after each other for 10 years, and it is amazing. I love this book. It was so good. Great Christmas romance, not too Christmassy, and I loved it. And it's also forced proximity because they have to spend the night with one bed, like had to share a bed. It was so good. Love this one. Can't wait to read more from this author. Then I have Poison Roses by Tate James, and I think it's Jamin Eve. I don't know how to say her name, but this is a Why Choose Rockstar romance, and it was really good. I really liked it. I gave it 4.5 stars, and it was really fun. Like, I loved it. It also had a mafia element. So one of the guys she had a relationship in the past with, and he's a part of the mafia, and he's like out to get her. So she like runs away from him, and she goes to this like nightclub, and this guy is really nice and is like, you can come stay with us. And he's a part of a rock star band, and her ex is also in the band, and he hates her. So like multiple different romances, why choose, action-packed, like she's on the run. It was really good. I gave it 4.5 stars though, because I really wanted to see more of the hero from the mafia, but I'm excited to read more in this series. It was so good. Definitely kept me reading, and yeah, I really liked it. Then I read Forbidden Hearts, which is a single dad nanny forbidden romance. So the heroine is back in town from taking a break from her PhD program, I think, her graduate school, for a reason that you'll find out in the book. But the hero is a single dad, and his baby mama is going on a work trip, and they need a nanny because he is also a cop, so he has a full-time job, and his daughter is deaf, so they need a nanny that does that knows ASL, and the heroine is the only one who knows ASL, and she's in town for a little bit, but he does not want her to babysit and nanny his daughter because of something that happened in the past where it was kind of a disaster when she babysat before, but granted, she was like 16. And so he begrudgingly agrees, and they have so much chemistry between each other that they cannot help themselves from starting like a friends with benefits kind of thing. And it is so good. I gave this book 5 stars. I loved it. I loved that nothing could stop them from being together. And she is also majoring in audiology, and I really loved that and how passionate she was about it, and it was just so good. 5 stars, amazing, loved it. Then I read God of Malice by Rena Kent. I did not love this book. I DNF'd it at 67%. I just felt like everything was about like him being this like psycho guy, and just like it was just really gimmicky, it felt like, and kind of like there was, I love books where he is like a psycho, like he's literally a psycho, but that it's kind of like a game, like there's like angst and like there's time between they get together, but no, he like every chapter, every moment they were like together, which didn't feel like that much as like fun. Like I love like the build up to like them being together or whatever, and I just didn't like it, and it was kind of boring. And yeah, so I DNF'd this one. Wasn't impressed by it, didn't really like it at all. Then I read Deviant Hearts by Jagger Cole. At this point in the month I was very much in a dark romance mood, and I picked this up because I saw Jen from the book review just started reading this one, and it is so good. This is a series. I loved it. This is an arranged marriage between the Greek and Irish mafias, and the heroine has been watching her next door neighbor who is very, very hot. He looks like a Greek god, and later that day she finds out that he is the head of the Greek mafia, and she is being forced to marry him. And she absolutely hates him because she does not want to marry him. And so it is a hate to love arranged marriage romance, and they have to live together, forced proximity. But there's also a lot of suspense in this one, which was really fun because of somebody that a very dangerous person of the heroine's past is back in the picture. And I love this one. It was so good. It was a very solid mafia romance. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. Thought it was so good. Like I loved all of the action, had everything I wanted in a mafia romance, and it was just really, really good. Highly recommend. Then I read Beyond the Thistles by Samantha Young. This is a small town like single mom bodyguard romance. So the heroine has run away from her very abusive ex-boyfriend who was in the like mafia, I think, and she has moved away to Scotland and is working as a housekeeper in this very like beautiful fancy estate in the Scottish Highlands, and she feels like her ex is coming for her, and so the bodyguard on like the estate is tasked with like watching over her and her daughter and protecting them, and he's also the hero, and he's Scottish. And I listened to the audio of this one, and it was really, really good. I loved the audio narrator for the hero. Like his accent was amazing. Everything was so good about this book. I love the suspense. I loved how he like wanted to keep their relationship professional. He couldn't help himself. So it was really good. Love this one. Gave it 5 stars. Can't wait to read the next one. Then I did a reread of Crescent City, the first book, because I am participating in the read along for this series for the first book. I mean for the third book to come out. So this is a fantasy romance series, and I loved it. I loved my reread. It was so good. Can't wait to reread the second book and then read the third book. Then I read Where We Started by Ashley Munoz. This is a new motorcycle romance series. This is second chance, very angsty. So the hero and heroine were in a relationship before, but then something happened and she broke his heart and moved away. And she was also the daughter of the president of the MC. And now her father has passed away, and now he's the president, and she's back in town to deal with her father's affairs, and she has to see him again. And feelings rise from the past, but there's also a lot of suspense in this one with a rival MC. This book was so good. I did give it 4.5 stars because the ending was a little like fast and not really explained that well, but there's so much potential in this series and so much potential with this author, so I'm really excited to continue on with this series. Then I read the 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. This was such a great romance. I loved it. So this is a super unique romance. So the heroine, her very beloved aunt passed away, and she has her apartment now, and her aunt would tell her that there would be this magical thing about the apartment that you could go into the past. And so she does, and she slips into the past 7 years like ago. And this is how like they fall in love with somebody. Everybody who is in this apartment will find somebody in the past that they fall in love with, but it always leads to disaster. And so somebody is staying in her apartment and she falls for him, but it is 7 years in the past. And it is so good, like kind of second chance, very angsty because she has to figure out who he is in the future. And it is so good. I really, really like this one. I listened to it in audio and it was amazing. I gave this book 5 stars. Loved it. Can't wait to read The Dead Romantics and I think her new romance in 2024. And then I read Little Rabbit by Janika Snow. This was a fun novella. I really liked it. This is a like Halloween romance novella, and so the heroine goes to a carnival with her friend, and a masked man corners her and does things with her, and it was really good. It has dubious consent though. There's lots of triggers for this book, so definitely go check them out. But I gave this 5 stars. Such a great novella. Loved it. And then the last book I read in 2023 was Funny Feelings by Tara DeWitt. I love this book. It was so good. I gave it 5 stars. This is a fake dating, friends to lovers romance with single dad. The heroine and hero have been friends for years. She does stand-up comedy. And he used to do stand-up comedy, but now he is her manager, and she's about to go on this very big tour with a bunch of other comedians. But they think they need to drum up interest for the tour, and so they decide to fake date. And it is so good. The hero's had feelings for her for years, but he never wanted to cross that line until they started fake dating and developed feelings for each other. And it is really, really good. Love this book. Thought it was adorable. I loved both of the characters. Just found it so fun. And I'm so excited to read more from Tara DeWitt. Right, well, that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed hearing my thoughts about all of the books I read in December. And I want to thank you so much for watching this video. And definitely down below, let me know what you are going to read in January for 2024, or what was your favorite read of 2023. I would love to know, but I want to thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.